All right, today we're going to be installing new upper control arms in the 2000 Toyota 4runner. This will work for a pretty big number of 4runner and Tacoma models. But anyways, we got them from Freedom Off-Road. Shout out to Freedom Off-Road for sending them in. They came in like, wasn't even like 2 or 3 days. It was expected to be next week sometime. They even sent in a sticker. I was hoping for a Fat Bob's Garage sticker, a Rough Country sticker, anything like that. I didn't get any of those, but we got Freedom Off-Road, so there they are. They sent in both upper control arms. These ones are extended for the 2.5 inch to 4 inch lift. So this is the one for this side. What we're looking at here, it's a OEM style ball joint inside of there, already installed. Ball joint on the control arm. They even got the little stud for the brake line. You can't see it in there, but you got your brake line or ABS line or whatever it is that mounts onto the upper control arm. They even put in a stud for that. So I'm gonna get in here, and I've never done an upper control arm, so we're gonna learn the upper control arm way, and then I'm gonna get you started on a video on how to do it yourself on the other side. All right, so we're gonna pull this upper control arm and replace it with the 2.5 inch lifted control arm. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to pull that bolt back there. Normally they're inside the engine bay, but my fender's a little funky here, so we're gonna have to work around that. And then we're gonna have to pull the ball joint. The ball joint puller wasn't working very well on the other ball joint, so I ended up having to grind it off. So that might be what we have to do over here too. And pull these lines off of the control arm, which these ones aren't even bolted on. It's gonna be a little squeeze. Probably just get a screwdriver in there. And what I did too was loosen it on this one to get it kind of out of the way. So I'll show you the progress here in a few. So here we are now. We got the upper control arm out. It was just a little 10mm bolt on top of this, a 19mm nut in here on this side, and a 19mm bolt on this side. So what I ended up having to do is bend this sucker out. Hopefully you all don't have to do that. It should be on the inside, or if not, it'll be on the outside where you can get it. But this thing has been in an accident before, so everything's a little jacked up. So I ended up having to bend that out, and I had to pull this little relay or whatever it is off. So that was just another 2 10mm bolts. And then it was a pain. I had to squeeze it past the little coolant reservoir right here. So it was a tight squeeze, but we got it. Now we're going to slap on the new one right here. And we're going to put that on, run the same bolt through it because I don't have new bolts for it. And then it comes with a stud right here on it with a nut. And so that's going to replace the old bolt that goes in to mount these lines right here. So instead they'll just slide onto the stud, and then you'll tighten the nut on. So first off, I'm gonna have to get this ball joint off. These ones are tight as all get out, so I'm guessing I'm gonna have to probably cut it and then use the press, but we'll cross that bridge here in a second, so we'll get to it. So now we've got the ball joint out, the upper control arm out, and it's all ready to rock and roll. So we come down to the new control arm, and since this is an extended control arm, it's got the ball joint in it, and you take this nut off, and these two pieces come off. So the ball joint's in the upper piece, and what you're going to do, at least with something like this, is you're going to want to clean that rim up a little bit, and then you're going to get that piece in there and this piece in the bottom, and then you're good to tighten that, except loosely put it on. And then you're going to bring those upper arms. Make sure this line stays on top or it'll screw you over later. And then you're going to run the bolt through the new arm. So that we're going to get started on that and see from there. All right, so we ended up bolting on the control arm up there first. And now we're going to take off the lower ball joint bolts so we can move the axle up and get it into place, get that tightened down. And then we'll jack up the lower control arm into the ball joint so we can tighten down the lower ball joint down there with just the 414mm. So we'll get that done. Oh, there she is, looking mean as always. running good out here. So like I said, check out Freedom Off-Road. Speed up the control arm. Got this great design. Put the stud on instead of having to run a bolt in for your ABS lines. It mounts up just perfect like it was built for it. It's got this cap for the greaser. So just pop the cap, grease it up. This thing is built mean as all get out. Perfect little setup.